What's up, everybody? First things first, let me introduce myself. I'm Dirty 30 for those of you who haven't been across the channel. Mostly my channel was set up just to do like installs. I've been told that I need to talk on those installs so people can understand what it is that I'm doing. So, instead of just making them a presentation, I guess. And I also been told that I need to sit up on my bike so people can actually see over the visor with the camera. All these people in this traffic, man. And yes, I know I need to work on my U-turns. That looked like that took about 27 to 30 feet to do a U-turn, but I need to get better, of course. But mostly today, what I wanted to talk about you can hear them tabs backfiring like pop. I guess that's what it is a backfire. Now I'm following the missus to her school because she got a lot of school supplies that she needs to take in there. So we just got finished loading up her car with all of the stuff she has. She's a veteran teacher, so she has almost way more than most would expect. But this also gives me the time to kind of discuss a few things. And the first thing I really want to discuss is traffic in Savannah, Georgia. Now, I'm originally from Cincinnati. Now, we have our little phantom traffic jams and spurts every once in a while. But Savannah is like condensed. I guess you could take Cincinnati and kind of compress it a little. So it's not more people, but since it's compressed down to a smaller size, man, it's hot down here. That's the heat will be another discussion. But since it's compressed down to a smaller size, it's like it's a phantom traffic jam everywhere you go. And not just a traffic jam, but traffic. Like you'll be riding or driving in the middle of a workday, or what you consider might be a workday. And people are going everywhere, like you can look right now, like, it's like it's almost 11 a.m. and people are still out driving. I understand some people have work shifts where they go in at 9:30, 10. But that shouldn't mean like everyone? Come on now. Also, everyone seems down here in Georgia and down in Florida. I went down to Jacksonville like a few weeks ago, but it seems like everybody on the expressway does 90 or more. Like, what is that all about? Everybody is in a big rush, but on the other side of that coin, when you're driving on the street, it's like everybody is slow. Like, I'm the kind of guy where I have to be going either in my car or on this bike at least 40 miles an hour. So right now I'm doing about 48, 50 miles an hour. So I'm comfortable. This is a comfortable speed for me. But people will start slowing down and doing like 35, and you're like, bruh, You was just on the E-way doing 95. You was honking your horn and flashing your lights to get me out of your way because I'm doing like 80, thinking I'm doing something. Oh yeah, and then I gotta get used to being able to bust U-turns because everywhere down here, you know, you got these medians right here. So I guess to combat that, they said, instead of driving way up the street, you can just bust a U-turn down here, which would help me, especially on this bike, get used to my U-turn, because I do want to tighten them up. I don't want to be having to drive all the way around the world just to make a U-turn, you know what I'm saying? And I've had to do that a few times. I got chastised about it, but it wasn't like evil chastising. It was just like, it was one of those tones of, bruh, you need to work on that, man, you know, because, you know, what's Jerry down in Florida say? You look like a doofus, man, when you can't bust simple U's, man, you know, so you need to work on that. So I get it. So, Savannah road conditions. I don't know if this stuff is in the air or if it's just trailed by other vehicles. But down here, there's a lot of like, I don't want to call it residue, but it's like sand. I'm used to like things being on the ground, you know, occasional tire tread, some rocks or something like that. But down here, it's like a sand residue. I don't know if you can see it. And it's just like, it's left up, especially after a rainstorm. I don't know if it's like blowing in the air or it's a lot of sand in the soil, and when the water washes off into the street or on the sidewalks, if you can find one, it's a lot of sand that's left over. And I know the bike, you know, well, this Road Glide is like equipped with that, what is it, it's like the RDRS or something like that. I don't know, it's a traction control or whatever. I've actually been in a rainstorm before and felt it when it worked. And down here, most of the time, I just leave it on because I don't know what it'll do in a case of, you know, hitting sand little banks or whatever they might be, you know. The road will just be smooth and all of a sudden here's a little pile of sand. Oh, and look at this. Look at this. Look at that. It'll be like dirt and soil and stuff on the ground. And you gotta look out for it. I'm like, does this city not have a street sweeping service? Because if it doesn't, whoever has that equipment, you need to come down here and you'll clean up. Get a contract with the city and just make bank. You know what I mean? I know you probably said, well, Dirty, why don't you do it? No, I don't want to do it. This just Georgia heat ain't for me. I can't be out there. I need to be inside working. I'm sorry. Sorry if I sound like a wuss, but I used to think it got hot in Cincinnati. You used to be complaining like, you know, but you can at least go outside in Cincinnati. Down here, if you can't help it, you don't want to go outside. Another issue I had with Savannah. Well, it's not really an issue, but I wish somebody would have took it. Is an issue. I'm not going to sit here and lie and be nice about it. Palmetto bugs. After everything I learned about being down here in Savannah, Georgia, no one told me about palmetto bugs. Yeah, I'm thinking palmetto bugs are just little cute little beetles or something like that, or maybe like a little, you know, those little beetles that are kind of like rainbow colored when they open their wings, or when they close their wings, they look all, you know, a bug. But not a creature from planet Clendathu. You know what I mean? These palmetto bugs, if I can, I'll try and stick one up here in the side so you can see a picture of it, not an actual one. But yeah, these things are, it's just palmetto bug is just a nice word for roach. And about you, but some of y'all in y'all upbringings, nothing against y'all upbringing, some of y'all had to deal with roaches time to time in your place. You know what I'm saying? I've been over to buddies' houses, you know, coming up, and they had roaches. But you know, these is little roaches that one crawl on you, you can smack it with your hand or something. You know what I mean? Not these guys down here. These guys is like the size of like, I don't know what, like a small salt and pepper shaker or something like that. Like with wings. I forgot to, I neglected to mention that. These guys got wings, so they fly all around. So it's not creepy enough that you see them walking around like at night outside behind you, not in any place. Well, I'll tell you about that. There's nothing gonna be in my place, not if I can help it. But you see these guys crawling around, and this is like, it just irritates your skin, man. Like, it'd be like, there's a bakery. She said she was looking for a bakery, but it just irritates your skin when you look at them, and you'd be like, you get all creeped out. Yeah, these palmetto bugs, and people want like palmetto bushes and stuff put in their yards and all that, and I'm like, so are the palmetto bugs either attract or breed in these bushes, these palmetto bushes, or is that just the cute way that y'all wanted to kind of ignore the whole issue of there being huge, giant cockroaches?
He said cock.
Well, in the magical art of editing, it doesn't seem like, it seems like I probably just got off the bike, but I've been here for like a good hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. I don't know. I don't think it's 2 hours. Maybe it is 2 hours. But this seat is burning up. When I tell you my cojones is inferno right now, believe me. Then I'm having small people problems backing this bike up because it's kind of, sort of on an incline. Ah, man. I really got to get that dirty air system. So, dirty air, if you watching, by all means, I'd love to do a review. But because I'm short, and I'm not saying this to like make an excuse, I mean, it kind of is an excuse, but because I'm short, when I have my foot on that rear brake when I'm stopping, sometimes I could, depending on how I'm pressing down on it, will cause the bike to kind of fall or feel like it's falling to the right. That's another reason why I don't want to put my wife on the back of this bike just yet. Because as long as I'm on the balls of my feet and I go to stop, or she goes to either get on or off, and I know we're supposed to be as a pair when, you know, supposed to be in sync when somebody's getting on and off the bike. She did that while we were at our old house. I was in the driveway, I had just pulled in, and she was like, hey, I want to get on. And she went to get on, and I wasn't really kind of paying attention. You know, I was thinking she was just kind of joking. She stepped up on there, and I didn't have my footing. And it made my heart jump. I was like, hey, I even had to curse. Like, get the hell off. really need to get a stage 2 on here. What were we talking about before I went in there? God, this seat is hot. Let me see, we pulled up palmetto bugs, that's what it was. All right, yeah. Some little gruesome little planet clendactyl. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to curse. I know the ass is in the Bible, but it's also on these BBLs. But, oh God, I got to get used to these Georgia smells too. Everything just smells mossy and musty. Even when it's about to rain, you know how usually in the Midwest, all my Midwesterners will understand this, you can smell the rain in the air. You can't smell it in the air down here. Getting back to those nasty palmetto bugs though. Yeah, nobody told me about that, so after getting all of our stuff together when we were moving from Cincinnati, you know, we had everything. We had everything in the big truck. We had a 26-foot U-Haul truck, had a trailer on there, had my car on the back, and my niece drove my wife's car, which is in front of us right now. So, coming all the way from Cincinnati in a big U-Haul, trailing your car, from the tip of Ohio, the southern tip of Ohio, to almost the southern tip of Georgia, is a feat within itself. In one day, you know, we didn't make it a 2-day thing. So, we got here around 12:30-ish at night. Now, granted, we stayed in a hotel. Granted, we stayed in a hotel that night. But anyway, I'm sorry, his Tesla creeped up on me behind me real fast, so I kind of screwed over just in case I didn't want to get rear-ended. But we stayed in a hotel. I had to pull that big giant moving truck along with the trailer with my car on it into the hotel lot because there was no place to park outside of the hotel property. So, after getting all that done, I finally got the trailer backed into a parking spot. Took it off, took the bike off. And I'm sitting here noticing things out the corner of my eye. I'm kind of thinking, because it was kind of windy. It looked like it was about to maybe storm or something like that. But the trees weren't swaying, but it was a little breeze in the air. So I'm thinking maybe leaves and stuff is on the ground, blowing around. Now, my wife is telling me, hurry up, just don't look at the ground, get the car locked up and all of that. Now granted, on that long trip, I didn't want the inside of the car to be baking, so I kind of got my windows down. I got all 4 windows. They're not all the way down, they just kind of opened a little bit, you know, just to let the air circulate through. So I get that done. I get back in the truck, and I get the truck situated all the way to the rear of the lot, just so I'm not in anyone's way. And I keep noticing, I'm like, why are all these leaves like blowing around, but the breeze is not blowing enough to be doing that? Yeah, I just saw what you did there, sir. You need to be careful. Oh, this is going back to road conditions I was telling you earlier. All the crap on the ground, man. Anyway, so she says, well, okay, since you got the truck parked open up the rear so we can get our bags out so we can go on and check in into the hotel. Now, granted, we called earlier, so they said we could show up whenever we want to as long as we called and we know we can check in. So, past that, so going past that, she's like, get the bags out the back of the truck. Now everybody know with a U-Haul, you gotta go to the back, you gotta take the lock off, you gotta flip up that clamp. It's a big lever, you gotta turn it over, then you gotta lift it up, and on a 26-foot truck, you gotta step up in there just to get your stuff. We had that truck packed all the way to the door. Stuff had kind of shifted, but I had it packed pretty good. That's another story. So I happened to look on the ground. I'm like, look, these are not leaves. These are bugs crawling around. And man, I tell you what, man, when I noticed what it was crawling around, and then I saw them flying, oh man, the first thought that came to my mind was yuck. Then the second thought that came to my mind was, I gotta close my window on my car. So now I gotta run from the truck. My wife is laughing at me because she knows that I don't like roaches and stuff like, you know what I'm saying? You know, so she giggling. I'm like, this ain't funny. You know, this ish ain't funny. I'm like, what the hell are these? She was like, they're palmetto bugs. And she said it like it was cool. Now I know my girl, she wasn't raised with roaches, so how she wasn't weirded out about it is beyond me. So I'm going and I had to run over there to the car. I realized I don't have a fob, so I got to run back to the truck, to the moving truck, jump in there, grab my fob, run back over. Now, mind you, I can't just roll the windows up by the fob. I got to get up on the trailer, get the door unlocked. First of all, you can't just crawl up onto the car because the trailer won't allow you to do that. So you have to there's a hinge that sits over the wheel. You got to basically pull that, you got to get that loose, pull it down so you can step up on there. Then I stepped up in there, so I have to slowly open the car door because it's kind of on that trailer, so you can't just jump in there real quick. So I slowed up, I get in there, I turn the car on real quick. I didn't like to hit the ignition. You know how it is. You turn the accessory point on. And I had to roll the windows up. And I'm sitting here praying to God in the back of my head that none of these little jokers that flew in there and got in there. So I get the windows rolled up. I come back outside. I just leave the little hitch step plate down. I didn't even bother to like put it back up. So I get out of there, lock the car with the fob, run back over to the truck, make sure the doors are locked on that and the windows are rolled up. All along, my wife is headed to the front door of the hotel. I'm like, oh, so you're just gonna leave me out here? I look at the back wall behind the truck. Back wall behind the truck, and it's like one of those vinyl fences, and the whole thing is covered with palmetto bugs. It felt like I wanted to jump out of my skin. Bruh, I kid you not, I do not like bugs like that. I can deal with praying mantis, scorpions. I can even deal with like little jumping spiders, tarantulas, but when it comes to a roach, man, I don't know. It's just something about it. I don't like it, and I don't care. You can put your comments down there in the bottom and tell me how you feel about different bugs and roaches, you know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, and while I'm sitting here running my mouth aimlessly about a bug, don't forget to smash that like for me, subscribe, share the channel. I appreciate it if you did it.
It's a YouTube thing.
It helps the channel out and it helps me out. You know, I'm still kind of new to the YouTube thing, so trying to have like 500,000 subscribers by the end of the year. But going back to the palmetto bugs, yeah, that was just ugh. So I was going to the hotel and I asked the dude, I said, the guy that was working behind the desk, I said, do y'all always have bugs like this down here? They was like, yeah, but they only come out at night. I'm like, so do the freaks. Like, what does that mean to me? Like, and I look over at my wife like, bruh, you done gave me all of the good news and good things about coming down here to Savannah, except telling me about these bugs. She just kind of giggled, ha, 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 ha. Well, she already know I ain't about to drive all the way back to Cincinnati or nothing like that, you know what I'm saying? Although I kind of felt like I should have, but I didn't. So, yeah, so we go in there, and I was just like, man, like, I was like shook up. I wasn't visibly shook up like I was sitting there with my knees knocking together, nothing like that, looking like Shaggy or Scooby-Doo, but she had to go ahead and get the key and say whatever she had to do. You know, they don't give you a key, they actually give you a key card. But anyway, so we go upstairs. She was like, well, I need my bags and such and such. I said, well, you kind of SOL. I'm not going back outside. You know what I mean? And it was still kind of funny at the time. She understood wholeheartedly. So, needless to say, we went into the hotel with the clothes we had on our backs. And we just crashed for the evening because, and oh yeah, but when I got into the room, even though the room was fine and clean, it was Fairfield Inn, I don't have nothing negative to say about them. All of their stuff was presentable and it was clean, everything was good, disinfected everything, beds made nice. I still check the room. I always check, anytime I go to a hotel, I check the room, you know what I'm saying? I check for, because I used to be a carpenter and a contractor back in the day. I know when we used to go in on some of these properties, how they would look, especially the ones that might have had bugs in it. So I always look for those signs. So I always check for signs of, you know, roach droppings, and, you know, you look for stuff like bed bugs under the seams and creases of your bed. You know, so I checked all of that stuff. Anyway, we got up the next morning. We had a little continental breakfast. We went out. Needless to say, we moved in where we was going for right now, and everything's everything. But I don't come out at night. I'm sorry, if it's the evening, I don't even come outside. Like, I left my bubble cup in my car the other day. And I really wanted to get it because I keep ice in it and I drink my water and all of that stuff. I was like, yeah, I guess it's out there. I'm not going to get it. Probably saying dirty. Why is she going to a storage facility? Because this is where I'm keeping my bike for right now. Because the townhouse that we're in right now doesn't have a garage, and Ukosi doesn't like sitting outside in the rain, and down here it just rains whenever it chooses. So yeah. And trust me, she got rained on a few times when we first moved down here, and she was frowning at me every time I went outside and looked at her. So she asked nicely, and I went ahead and got her a little storage bin and facility.